All right, good afternoon, everybody. Another round of coffee and questions, but like I said, it's afternoon, so just grab your favorite drink, whatever it is, and kick back. And what are we going to talk about? Well, you know, I got that Tack Life rotary tool, and I went ahead and I hooked it up, and I've got it hooked up. Both the bits that I used in this, rather, is what I'm trying to say, is I used Kutzall bits. Now, I did like everybody else. I wasn't sure about this whole wood carving thing and how much I was really going to want to do it. So I bought a bunch of cheap bit sets off eBay. Anyway, I tore them up, cheaply made, China stuff. Not everything out of China, like I said, is junk, but I bought really cheap sets of Burrs, to try, and I'll show them to you here in just a sec. Let me see if I've got them. Okay, so my original purchase, just to see and get a feel for them, is I bought 6 sets of these real cheap bits. But I started busting them, tearing them up fast. I've got about, close to 2 sets left. They're good for really, really detailed, fine kind of work. I needed something that was going to really carve out the wood a lot faster and more aggressively, so I went ahead and I bought these right here. These are really aluminum cutting burrs. I used them when I did that piston skull, and they work good on wood too. There's nothing wrong with them, but still wasn't as aggressive in cutting into the wood and tearing out wood as fast as I wanted to do it in terms of wood carving. So my next step, I bought that Tack Life rotary carver. It came with bits in it, okay? But those were more of these lower end bits. Then I saw a couple of wood carvers online, and they were using Kutzall Extreme. Now, these bits run, in the teens, the dollar-wise, for one. And I'll show them to you here in a sec. Actually, I have one hooked up right now on my master carver. This is a cone-shaped Kutzall Extreme. This sucker takes off wood like there's no tomorrow, and it does not clog up and plug that easy like a lot of them do. It has, a decent sized gap in between these really sharp burrs. This thing is incredible. How fast it takes off wood, and I'm going to show it to you here in a minute and do a little demo. But along with that, I went ahead and I got the bull nose, or ball nose, whatever you want to call it, and I'll leave the links below. You don't have to buy all of these. It's just what I did, and I got this one here. It's the sphere-shaped Kutzall Extreme, and I got this other one here. This is a taper for doing more fine, intricate, in-depth kind of work, stuff like that, or just playing around with whatever you want to do. But I wanted the 4, so I bought 4 really good bits. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to demo those in a minute. Now, one of the questions that everybody gets on the forum is, how do you clean these? Okay, you do not use a metal or steel wire brush. You can use brass, you can use nylon, and if it gets too gummed up in here, okay, everybody in their shop, I'm sure by now, has one of these Burns-O-Matic torches. This is titanium carbide. You're not going to hurt it, so you can sit here and actually you can turn this thing on. And in seconds, I haven't even brushed this off yet with a brush or anything. I don't think I've got one handy laying around, but I will before I start here in a minute. But it will get rid of all of that embedded debris in there, okay? And then you can just brush it. Let me see if I've got a brass brush. Yes, I do, right here. So I just go like this. And that's back to new. It just takes moments to do. I keep the torch handy, usually if I'm doing a lot of carving, and I keep this little brass brush handy. All right, so let me get some safety glasses. I'm going to do a demo now. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're doing any of this for any length of time, get yourself some kind of a mask on. I'm only going to do it for a few seconds to show you, and I don't want to ruin the audio, but definitely you want safety glasses or a shield or both, and you want to go ahead and make sure that you have this in a very comfortable position to where you can work with it. So the safety stuff is important. Now up here I have a Miller vapor mask. Okay, I use it in welding so you don't breathe the fumes. I can also use it for the wood carving, or I'll show you another mask. Hang on just a second. Or you can get these probably Harbor Freight, big box store. These are disposable, but I use them multiple times before I dispose of them. Okay, let's set up. Let's give it a whirl. Now, before I start, I do want to mention you can also buy these little rotary flap discs too. These are really cool. They work very aggressively and very quick depending on the grit. I think these are 120 grit. You can get these on Amazon too. It really cleans up the wood nicely in terms of sanding, because all of these bits from Kutzall that I bought, these are coarse. Now they've got extra coarse, coarse, and fine. There's usually 3 categories of them, and sometimes they're color coded. I think yellow is the fine. I think green was coarse, red was extra coarse. But with the Kutzall, they came with, they're all black, but that's okay because it says in the description what these are. These are, these are the extreme very coarse, which is what I wanted, because with the very coarse, I'm going to do like some wood spirits and things and play around carving. I can always get in there and sand them out using flap wheels or just by hand. So it's not a big deal to me, but depending on what you're carving, what you're doing, you might want some of the other kinds of wheels. Now also, these cheaper bit sets that I tell you that I have, these are not extra coarse. So I can also use these, maybe a little more time, but I can go in and clean things up with these too. Let me put this stuff away. Let's do a little carving demo here. Let's see how this thing performs. So we'll do the hardwood first. You can see where I kind of drew this face on there. I'm not going to do a lot because I'm on the inside of my garage. I don't want to get everything, including the camera, all dusty and dirty. So, fucking plane. I'm going to do the outline right here, the rest of his beard. Now, what I do on the really hardwoods is I make a light pass. And I do this a couple of times to create a channel for this thing to work in. If you try to press down too hard when you go, it's going to skate on you. So I just go slow like this. Now, here's another tip. I cut to the outside of the line that I drew, okay? If you cut to the inside or on it, you're gonna make it thinner than you want it. So after I've drawn on here, how I wanted this, I just stay to the outside. All right there. I'm going to zoom in. It cut this thing very aggressively, very quickly. Okay, there's no doubt. And this is on hardwood. I could feel, a little bit of pressure I have to push, and you get past the real hard areas. On this piece of wood's crap. Okay, this is just crappy wood, and I'm going to go throw it in the wood burning pile when I'm done with this video. It has rotten spots. You got big pieces that fly off of you. Look, this stuff's wood. Throw it out. Get yourself something, that's really going to at least turn out as you practice, right? But we're just goofing around. So that's this one. Now, switch over to something that's a little bit better. I remember this one from my past video. This is one where we did the aniline dye and trans tint dyes and we're playing around, but I also drew on here freehand, just a wood spirit. It's like this Doug fir. Now you can use Doug fir and pine. Now what's nice about this, it carves very smoothly. I don't want to say like butter, but it carves very smoothly. If you bring it home from the big box store, let it sit out in the sun. Let it really dry out. Part of what causes all of this clogging here is from wet wood. But like I told you, if it becomes too plugged up, use that brass brush. Those are dollar store, or, well, you can get them at dollar store and at Harbor Freight. They're cheap. I keep them in my toolbox, just reach over, grab one. And you can see after that hardwood, it was real dry. This bit is still totally clean. Now, let's try it on this, okay? And let's see how this performs. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this best I can, and you can see on the outsides here of his beard, I mean, where I took that tool. And just in a matter of minutes, that Kutzall went ahead and took this wood down. And if I'm real light on my touch, this thing will just take that wood off like right now. So if you're real light on your touch, you can do some nice carving, you can do some rounding over and stuff and feathering in like I did here on his beard and stuff. It works great. I'm a fan. I mean, I'm glad I bought the 4 that I bought. I'm sure that I will buy more, especially replacements. I don't know how long they will before they dull out. From everything I read, it takes a really long time for them to dull out. And I've already showed you kind of how to keep them clean and, you know, what else to do here. So I won't do a lot of carving, like I said. I'm inside of my shop here, so in the garage rather. But yeah, you know what? I mean, I like this. This is a cool thing. So let's see, any questions and answers, you know. I pretty much got most of the stuff, you know, off of the forum. Now, with the Tack Life rotary tool, I'll set that one up too. And I'll have both hanging with 2 different bits on it. I have my master carver right here. Now, right there. Okay, now the master carver, this has got like a cast shield over it. It's not plastic, okay? It's also a lot more expensive to buy. I'll leave the link below if you decide you're really going to get into carving and doing things. There's a lot of people. There's somebody down at the street fair that does wood spirits. He does a hell of a business. And they're small enough to where you can make them when you get good at it at home and sell them. Now, this is like my first time carving a wood spirit. It's turned out okay so far. I do see some errors in it. I probably should have made the mustache up a little higher. The mouth should have been done a little bit more differently, but I expect anytime I start something like this to have things not turn out so good in the beginning. It's a learning curve. I'm getting used to the bit. I'm getting used to the tool. I'm getting used to doing it, but as you get better and better, maybe you start selling your stuff pretty soon. So these are easy to ship also. So there's another good plus if you want to start like a little side business making wood carvings. You can make spoons, you can make small bowls, you can take a branch, and with these you don't need anything else. I mean, if you get the right bits, you can carve it out and make little bowls. You can do all kinds of things that I thought of. I don't know if I'll ever get into them. We'll have to wait and see. But you'll get better at it, but you got to start somewhere, okay? So anyway, back to the devices. This one's the more expensive one, the Master Carver. Now the Tack Life, let me show you. What's cool about this Tack Life, when I bought it, it comes as a complete kit. You have everything you need in here to get started, except for those really aggressive bits. It has a flex shaft that you can hook up that comes with it, so it will work just like the Master Carver does. Now with the Master Carver, I've got 2 different tool handles. This one right here, just like with the one with the Tack Life, this will hold a 1/8 shaft bit or a 1/4. I put the bigger one on here. And this is coarse. This isn't extra coarse. This is a coarse flame burr. So it'll take off a hell of a lot of material really rapid. So both of these, I mean, come with that Master Carver, but You can do the same thing without spending all the money, unless you're really going to get into it, by buying the tack light. It's been a good product. I've demoed it. You can see in my past videos a couple of times. It's right here. It's got a nice, easy feel. It's got a nice grip. I mean, you can hold it right here. Your hand doesn't get in the way of the ports like it does on the Dremel and a lot of them. It comes with a kit. It gives you a wrench, buffing wheels, sanding wheels. It gives you stones for metal. It gives you lots of different things and little bits in here anyway that you can, start to play around with and try. There's little Kutzall bits that's in there. Kutzall bits work good for fine detail work. They're mainly used on drywall. You can puncture a hole, go around an outlet, and that square piece comes off. Drywall fits on there perfectly fine, or around like a door frame. When it goes in to like drywall, they usually set it at about a ½ inch and go all the way around it. And same thing with door frames. I mean, that's pretty much what those kind of bits are used for, but they will work on wood. Let me just make that comment. This could be a nice starter tool for you to see if you like doing these kinds of projects. Now on pine and Doug fir, I could use this tool and this tool only, not a problem. But I already had the master carver before I bought the tack light. Tack light would be, like I said, a good one for you to start off with because it comes with everything. Cord included, instructions, everything. There are also other videos out there on YouTube, about using this tack light. It comes in a nice case, slips right up into my toolbox, keeps it kind of dust free, which I kind of like. So I did a video on this a while back. It's a nice little kit to have. I haven't used it very much. This comes from Tack Life too, and this is a Rotary tool accessory kit. It's got wire wheels, sanding discs, it's got stones. I don't know. It's got lots and lots of stuff in here. I did some work for a buddy of mine, and he wanted me to, have this kit, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I'll try it. I'll check it out. And let me see. There it is, opened up. But I would tell you for wood carving, because this has got polishing compounds, it's got sanding discs, buffing wheels. What I like about this kit is it's got all these different collets. So if you come across a burr that's a different size, you can switch out the collet, which then will hold the burr. But this kit comes with a whole bunch of burrs in here. But again, these are the very inexpensive low-end burrs. I don't know how much I'll use them, and I don't know how much I'll use most of the stuff that's in here, but it's a nice little kit to have. It's inexpensive. I'll leave a link below. Let's say you're just getting started. Get the Tack Life rotary tool and get yourself at least one, that cone-shaped Kutzall Extreme. It's the very coarse one. I'll leave it in the link below. You could probably do a whole wood spirit with just that one burr, to be truthful. So with one burr and the tool, you got it. And just find some scrap lumber. Now, the other thing I will tell you, when I'm done, and I've done this with other carvings, and I've used the coarse and sometimes the extra coarse, I sand them, but I sand them by hand because I'm not talking about like a real large project. You're talking about small projects. I don't want to get in there with these flap wheels and sanding discs. They're going to take off too much, okay? So I like to sit there and just wait till the end of the day, grab yourself a cold beverage, I don't know, beer, wine, whatever you like when you're not running any more power tools, put on some music, and just sit there and sand. It's kind of a mindless little thing, I understand, but your finish will come out much better. It really will. So that's my advice on that. Let me put this away. I'll look at questions and give you some answers if there is any. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. All right, here's our guy here against the far, long ways from done. But I don't know, it's starting to take shape, starting to look good. So you got to start somewhere. Don't worry about messing up. Who gives a shit? You mess up, you know what? I got a designer wood pile out back, okay, of projects that busted up on me or they didn't turn out the way I wanted to. I'm not afraid of doing something new anymore and realizing that probably the odds are against me the first handful of times or more doing it. It's going to turn out the way that I want. It takes practice The other thing I tell people, just like with my wood lathe when I'm turning wood, somebody said, why don't you do more videos on wood turning? I don't think it's the kind of content where I'm going to get a lot of people interested. There are videos out there on wood turning. It's really kind of one of those niche things where you would have to own a lathe, to, want to really get into it. I do own a lathe. It's a Jet 1642 variable speed, 2 horsepower. It's a very nice lathe. I paid good money for it, but that's probably the reason why I don't do a lot of those videos. I just don't know if I'll get very many people that are interested. But this stuff where you can make money, people are interested in. They say, well, I don't want to spend a ton of money. And I just want to figure out something to do on the side to fuel my hobby, kind of like what you do, but without buying a lot of expensive equipment. Well, there's Craigslist, eBay, there's all these things that we go through. I get a lot of stuff off Craigslist, garage sales, stuff like that. But you don't need it to get started. If you, like I said, you get the rotary tool, get the burr, you're not into it for very much money. Grab a piece of scrap lumber or get a piece of lumber from out at the big box, bring it home, cut it, draw a face on it, start carving. Actually, it's kind of fun sometimes. Late in the day when I'm done doing other things, or if I come home from work and I've got, a couple of hours or so and I just want to unwind and I don't want to think about anything really. I come out here, I grab one of these projects, these wood carvings. The bits are hung up here on a pole, they're ready to go. You can suspend them from your ceiling, on a hook, a chain, whatever you want to do, or with the tack life, you don't even have to do that. I just plug it in, man, you're ready. You're ready right that second to start having some fun and carving. And you sit and just start carving things out, just on a piece of wood. This is flat. A lot of guys do them on branches, round branches. I haven't gotten to that level yet because I don't have any branches, but a little more difficult. But once you get the knack of it, you should be fine and you'll make money. Okay, well, I'm the home handyman. Don't see anybody making any remarks or anything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to share with you about this. Just take your time, take light cuts. You'll see some of these guys on YouTube. He really, a couple of them really just jabbed that bit in there, man. And they just really, I'm like, I'm not in a rush, okay? It's not a production thing. So, if I have to make 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 passes, light passes, it's like sculpting at the same time. I don't want to sculpt it just in one cut. So, you start figuring it out, I guess, as you go. The one thing that's helped me is I've done like this guy and I've done the other guy. So when I did the other guy on the hardwood, which I realized was crap wood and I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I would come out here and I would carve on it for a while, and then in the evening I go watch some videos and I see how other guys are doing it. They all have their own style, I get it, but there's lots of tips, that they'll give you. So, jump in, start doing it, take it in with you, take a look, say, oh, that's the way he did that, whatever, and you'll remember, make a couple of notes if you have to, come out and try it again. I'm Rattling, I'm the home handyman. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I gave you some thought here. Spoons, bowls, wood spirits, I don't know, whatever, you want to do. Maybe you're interested in this stuff and maybe you're not, and if you are, like I said, they should be easy to sell, they're easy to ship. I'm going to start taking a little bit more of a look at this and add it into the things I do along with the horseshoes, railroad ties, and the welding stuff. Small stuff, I can do and I can ship. So, and it doesn't take that long. Okay, I'm the home handyman. You folks, I hope you click subscribe, follow me. I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.